All right, welcome, guys. Is matters arising in Nigerian politics the way it should be discussed? Detailed insight into what was said and what was not said as well. What was winked at and all that you need to know in matters arising. Philip, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Honorable. You're good.
Good afternoon,
Good
brother.
Is it Prophet Eli or Honorable Eli?
Anyone we call it,
These
take
titles
it.
are becoming too many for
No,
me.
they are never too many. Don't worry.
They are never enough.
You have the weight to carry it.
Titles are not by weight.
No, All right. Now, it's something of sort of springing up information about Goodluck Jonathan prepared to run again. That's kind of really, will I say, inspiring, bringing hope, not renewed hope as we know hope to be. Philip.
You know, Nigeria is a country that is always taking after America. It was only in America that the president that lost the election, came back to run and win again. And that's the person of Donald Trump. He lost his election, his bid to return to office in 2020, I suppose, and he came back in 2024 to become the president of the United States of America. You know, the person, Goodluck Jonathan, is one of the leaders that has brought luck to Nigeria.
Yes.
It was during his reign when Nigeria enjoyed the biggest economy in Africa. And it's on record. He was the only president who has been able to assemble,
The best of brains.
best, team to man the Nigerian economy. And the result is out there. Nobody has beaten it, but rather they squander, the gains of Jonathan. So before now, even in 2022-23, some persons in the APC, including the city vice president, make an overture to Jonathan to come back to the seat, that they know better now who Jonathan is, but he declined. Again, as 2027 is approaching, so many ventures have been made to Jonathan to come back to run. That was when at some point the wife outburst that we are comfortable, we are no longer interested in Aso Rock, we are supporting the present president because he supported us in 2011. But the story is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
But the way it is, it's more like a breaking news. A close ally, coming from where? Coming from Yenagua, his hometown, his home state, saying that our son is now ready to come back to the seat of power. He withdrew himself, into the ring for the election. He's prepared to contest against President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I mean, it's a very welcoming development because the North has said it over and over that you see, we'll be comfortable to go with either Jonathan or Peter Obi, but their first choice is Jonathan. And before now, the question is, will Jonathan agree to come back to the ring? And if it's coming from his home state that he's ready to come back to the ring, then there is stressing time ahead. But again, don't forget, just this morning, the former majority leader of the APC, who is also an APC shifter, had told us the APC is doing everything possible to ensure that no opposition party stands. So if Jonathan is going to run, where is he running from? The question.
So a lot of questions to be answered.
Exactly.
Eli, Jonathan coming back, we saw a lot of prosperity in our nation and resources, even though there were allegations of misappropriation of resources. But what we have now is nothing compared to that. And him being a scholar put a lot of we saw a lot of other scholars coming to help, and we saw the fruit of many of those things. I mean, it's nothing compared to what we have today.
Yes, you see, the issue here is very glaring. The problem with Nigeria is not that God has anything against us. Rather, I think it's one of the nations of the world, that have everything that is supposed to have as reasons for being the most developed. Our initial and present problem remains political will, corruption, bad leadership, and whatever. And saying that technocrats, important and very intelligent people, came around during Jonathan to work with him, I even disagree. You see, you have to bring the enabling environment, you understand, as a leader, for people that have what they can contribute to their country to come in. When they see the sincerity of purpose in your leadership, all right, looking for how to make things work, that is when they will come on board to contribute their own quota. But you see, when they find out that there's no sincerity on the part of the leadership, when they find out that there's no genuine interest, of leadership in the camp of people who are in power at a particular time, they would rather prefer to reserve their energy and not to come waste what God has given them. So you see, when people that have record, I think another thing is this: when we begin to elect people based on merit, based on record, based on what they have done, what they are supposedly will be able to do, we will get it right. We don't need to elect leaders in Nigeria or in any part of the world as a whole, based on religion or ethnicity. Do you understand? Now, if Jonathan agreed to come back, I will not be surprised, if a lot of Nigerians have sent him back. No one is perfect. Now, we will now be able to compare him, his tenure of, let's say, 4 years, 2 years completion of his former boss, the 4 years he had to himself, and then the way he took leadership, not by do or die, a man that was ready to sacrifice his own interest for the peace of the country, a man that is ready to let go for the country to move ahead, and people who are bent on holding on to power because they think it's their turn. A leader who wants to come and continue what he has done or he has started, and leaders who feel it's their turn to be in power, not having any visible thing that will move the country forward. If Jonathan is actually going to come back, I will not even be surprised if very important and very good people with same like mind, I'm not trying to campaign, but maybe people like Peter Obi could even step aside and support him. We need a leader who will come on board, and other people would want to support him with ideas, support him with their resources, rather than fighting that they must be in office. Leadership is supposed to be service, not to be ruling as that is their time.
As Lord.
Yes.
Now, there will definitely be a conflict of interest somewhere, somehow. It's obvious a lot of Nigerians are in love with Goodluck Jonathan. It's also obvious that the obedient movement has come to stay, and that is a platform or umbrella to which you see so many youths come together and say, Obi is what we want. What will become of Obi? Knowing that Obi has made statements before that if Jonathan is running, I'm going to step down. Will he still go by that word?
You see, Obi has everly maintained that it is not about him, but about good governance. Obi has said time without number that his interest is in Nigeria that work for everyone. His interest is good governance for Nigeria. If Obi see good governance in Goodluck Jonathan, I don't think the obedient will think otherwise. But even though I'm going to digress a little, I think where the obedient will have problem with Peter Obi, it is when he decides to be a vice presidential running
candidate
to Atiku or any other person. He will have to contend with the obedient. But the issue before us is Jonathan truly coming to run? Is Nigeria going to repeat history as America has just done? Will Jonathan repeat history as Donald Trump? If Jonathan is prepared to run and is prepared to repeat this history, what about the stand of the APC? Their preparedness to destroy every other platform for the opposition to thrive. How is he going to do stage his comeback? There are so many questions. this is because we are discussing this because it's coming from a very reliable source, and it's coming from his own home state. Anybody that speaks from that state and is includes early as disclosed in the medium or where it comes out, it shows that it's authentic. So, what are the plans? Bearing in mind that the wife has come out to say that they are no longer interested in running for an office, rather they are supporting the present government because it's reciprocal, because the president has supported them in the time past. So what is playing out? And also bearing in mind that the North as it is today, they are more comfortable with a man who can do one tenure. I will have discussed it on this platform. The only person constitutionally that will do a tenure and without having power to say that the constitution allow me to do a second tenure is President Goodluck Jonathan. So, and don't forget, the North has a lion's share of the vote, whether we like it or not, to determine who becomes the president of this country. It has Jonathan seen through this and is trying to catch on the opportunity? Is it that the North has been able to, pressurize him enough to say that he should come back to office? With a lot of questions should come to our mind, because the Jonathan we know, it is like Peter Obi. He's not crazy for power.
Yeah.
He's a perfect gentleman who is satisfied and content with whatever he had at every given point in time. The question before us is it that the hunger in the land, the poverty in the land, the wailing in the land has come to him that he now said, okay, let me go and serve in situation for my people. Don't forget, Jonathan is like a leader chosen for Nigeria by God, but the Nigerian people rejected him, and God chose to give the leaders that they choose by themselves, just like it were in the days of the Jews, when they said, oh, we don't want judges over us anymore. We want kings just like every other nation around us. And they paid the price for it. I think Nigeria had paid the price for it to a large extent. And maybe, just maybe, Jonathan is seeing that my people have suffered enough. Let me
go for a rescue mission. But who will you think rather, that is more popular between Jonathan and Obi?
You see, that comparison cannot come into play at the moment, because Jonathan and Obi had not been in the contest at any given point in time. And don't forget, Obi has always, pledged his loyalty to Goodluck Jonathan. Obi has said that Jonathan government that's the kind of government Nigeria should have improved upon, but they squandered that opportunity. So what Obi is trying to come to do is to rejig the economy, just like the way Jonathan rejigged it, and for some other places to build on. So comparing the two of their popularity at this point, we cannot really say, because there's no basis for comparison as it is today.
All right, we will be looking at how it plays out really, but there are other things to ponder about, because the politics or the polity is always heated up in a way. Obi said we will have political parties bigger than government in New Nigeria. Now this Obi talking based on his aspiration to be the president of the country. He's saying that because the way it is, the party is actually supposed to be above, the president. But the moment a president wins an election, he automatically becomes the leader of that party in that area, whether at the state level, whether at local government level, whatever level they are. You find out that it's prioritized over what a senator, for example, now in a senatorial district is more. They say is the leader of the party in that area. The same way a House of Rep member is the leader of the party in that area. But what of the party officials, Eli?
Now, you see, the question put here is this. The cause or the reasons for these actions all this while that individuals that have, come into offices most times will be more influential, and their influence will cover party ideologies, is because there are no even party ideologies in most political parties. Now, you now have a leader who is saying there will be more political strength in parties than the people who come on board through those parties. It shows a man that have purpose for the country. What do I mean? every political party normally will have ideologies, rules and regulations. They have, programs. That's how it has been. They have programs that whoever win under their party is supposed to work with, maybe security, education. They align things that are supposed to move the country or wherever they are going forward. Now, but what we've had all this while, most of this while, is we've had people that once they come on board, there's no program on ground. They don't have any template. All they do is whatever comes to their mind, they are in power now. Now, so from what Obi is saying, it shows people who are not, like we've always said, not interested in being lording themselves over people, but seeing things working out. That means there will be political inclusiveness. That means there will be internal party structure. That means everybody's idea, all right, will be collected together, and then whatever is being agreed that will be able to help move the country forward is what whoever is elected will work with. All right? And then it shows there's a hope for tomorrow. When we begin to have leaders in office who will have the consciousness that, well, I am elected today, but if I go contrary to what is agreed, even in the party, I can be recalled back. In Nigeria today, you hardly be able to recall some certain persons back because they have become more powerful than the parties that they use. And parties are actually the vehicles that they use.
Drives you to office.
Those offices.
Yes.
And then there's something my colleague here said about the country in the north being interested in having a president that will do a single term. Of course, even Jonathan, if today he decides to run, and if Nigeria decides to elect him, and God has decided to allow him, he cannot run more than once. He has been president once already.
Because there's a constitutional provision only for that.
President.
All
the
right.
fact that you were president about 12 years ago and now you become president does not mean that one is erased. He has only 1 term or 2 if he's given the opportunity.
Okay, Philip.
Yeah, on the issue
on
of
this issue.
On the issue of
yes.
the party and the individual becoming the leaders of the party.
Yes.
I will say 2 things to it. My recipe. First thing first. One, because the country, the poverty has been weaponized. The people are poor. Secondly, I agree with him that there are no ideology in political parties that are existent in Nigeria. But the first thing is the major reason why government office holders are the leaders of the party at various levels. Because they are the one that, with the money bags, if you take your mind back to the Second Republic, if I remember vividly,
during Shagari.
The chairman of the National Party of Nigeria, MPN, the person of Akiloye, is a Yoruba man, I can't remember the name vividly. Even when the government was toppled, he was on a flight. He gave a command, said, do you know who is on this flight? The national chairman of the MPN is on this flight. That tells you the superiority of the party at that time. The party had ideology. The party officials are the custodian of the ideology of the party. The government official defer to them. Because if you misbehave today, tomorrow you are not sure of getting your ticket to go back. But the reverse is the case today in this fourth republic. Because the man in power determines who becomes a party official from the world level to the national level. That is why you see today in APC, Ganduje resigned, and tomorrow and yesterday, a man from Plateau was endorsed. Before then, somebody was nominated to be in an artist capacity. That's not the way party works. Until we get the party right, the internal democracy within the party right, and a party with ideology emerges, you will not get it right. But what Obi is saying is this. First thing first, wipe out poverty from the land. Let the people be self-sufficient, so that they don't go begging from anybody, so they can take decisions on their own. That way, the party, without prompting, they will become self-sufficient, and internal democracy will enthrone itself. Because I am not going to be looking up to you to get elected as party official. When I'm a party official, the only thing I'm looking out for is when election is coming, I will sell form and I will make money. It won't be so. I am going to ensure the ideas of the party are being protected. This is what Obi is saying. Obi might not say it in clarity, but what he has said that, look, if I'm opportuned to be president of this country, I will ensure that poverty is wiped out. Obi is the advocate of moving the Nigerian economy from consumption to production. And what that is, when a country is productive, it means that the people of the country are productive. They are earning their living. They don't look up to other person. I gave you an instance. The man who brought me from First Headquarters now, I had booked for a boat, and he was going to bring me, and he was honest, so I flagged him that I was going to come to Wuyi. He said 6,000. I said no, I'm going to pay you 3,000. He said no. He said he said I should enter. You know what happened? While he was driving, he got a phone call, and the person called. Apparently, may have called the person. He said, my wife delivered. I had twins, and in the course of their discussion, I found out that he would have. The man was practically weeping, and he was driving because he could not pay to discharge his wife and his children.
That's the boatman.
That's the boatman. When I got here, instead of giving it, I gave him 10,000. Not that I have it. That's the kind of country. He was practically begging everyone he can to see that he can. You see, because the country is not productive. He told the person on the other side of the phone that, look, the man I'm driving car for, the police officer, asked me whether we have food. He said he bought food for us, and the wife gave me 30,000 this morning. I was touched in my spirit. In fact, tears rolled through my eyes. This is the kind of country we are living. That is what Obi saying that, look, the only reason why the parties are under the government official is because poverty is everywhere.
Exactly, you're right.
You cannot be a party official without knowing a government official. So this is the problem, and that is why this thing will continue to exist until we have a change of government.
All right, we'll see how that will display, because most of the time when there's an in-depth or an endemic problem, it's difficult for you to yank it off at that particular time. We want to really see. We hope he gets the shots at the power. He gets the what he's looking for to see, because most of the parties are not ideological parties the way they used to be. If they are based on, for example, if you talk about the Tory party and the Labour Party, you know their ideology. Even the Prime Minister or the Minister at the opposition doesn't go outside of what the party. Do you understand? They don't say their own much.
Even what they are saying, you see the clear ideology dichotomy.
Yes.
The way the Labour Party is going, the way the Conservative is going.
Yes.
In the United States, you see the way the Republicans are going, you see the way the Democrats are going.
Yes.
Where is it in this country? Tomorrow, if they say they've crossed carpet, because of this problem in this party, I am leaving my part, I'm resigning my membership.
But the reason you went there before was because of the ideology that you maintained.
Exactly.
Well,
what happened to
guys, if you have ideology in the first place before you
but a lot of them, for example, their names and slogans alone are a reason to tell us that they have ideology.
Exactly.
They say all progressive party or Congress. All progressive people that are progressive.
You will check them, because most party officials, all right, were people that handled political and public offices before they became party officials, as at Nigeria of today. So you have to see, let's not be deceived. When they come with beautiful names, check the records of these people. Some of them were former governors, some were former senators.
No, we're not talking about.
No, we're not talking about.
We're talking about the parties that they used to get into power. For instance, the Social Democratic Party said they are social justice. When you talk of People Democratic Party (PDP), they said the power to the people. That the power resides with the people. That is the people that makes the decision. Exactly. When you talk about the LPP, they have their own, where they are going to.
Yeah. But in the case of Nigeria, it's no longer that way.
That's what you are saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
All right, okay. Let's move a little away from that. We hope that we can get that, and maybe things will begin to roll for that as a result of getting that. Now, I don't know the northern youth that tells El-Rufai that your time is up, or you are too divisive. You have too many divisive comments. It's no longer relevant. I don't know the portion. Is it Arewa youth movement? Is it? I don't really know. Philip.
You see, I will continue to say today, I think it will be one of my, starting point from one of all these issues. The majority leader of of the House of Representatives, who is a recipient of the APC, had told us clearly, even though we have said it over and over on this platform.
That's the former majority leader.
Former majority leader. You know, even though we have said, he has reconfirmed what we'll be saying, that look, the APC is their strategy. Although he said it's political, that their war is a political war, but they are trying to destroy democracy. And how do they go? Well, how are they going about it? To destroy every other platform and every other opposing voice, any which way they can. Now, coming to the issue of the Northern Youth, whatever, and El-Rufai, you know, like you said it on this platform, that here I am, send me. You know, the people are hungry. Those elements that came up, one took or said that that is one that spoke, or the spokesperson for that group. You know, people are always willing when the money is there.
Because, and they can talk anyhow.
Exactly. Because from that statement the man made, he may have between $1 million to 10 million naira to share with his
or more.
Or more. So he has earned some money, and that will not come for a very long time. You see, but this is healthy for democracy. This also gives El-Rufai the room for him to work harder. He also know that even though as he's working harder, the people are also pushing his effort. The man said, you see, to every statement made, there are elements of truth. You cannot wish away all that the man has said. So it is left for El-Rufai to go for self-examination and see how he can correct those statements made about him by this so-called youth, whether they are in existence or they are not in existence. But the statement has been made about him. So how did he go about correcting that statement, before this impression before the public? Is up to him. Because this is a democracy. People are free to air their voices. But the truth of the matter is that these are sponsors elements.
Well, Eli, let me go, because I don't really see, we have a lot to deal with here. There's a guy that rose up yesterday and said that I think he said he's the chairman of ADC in Benue State, and he talked about the fact that what David Mark they are doing is to grab power to use it. He said, no, ADC is not a platform. He comes as a chairman of chairman. You know, Philip educated us yesterday and told us, because I was rewatching it, he said, look, let me put it here today. There's nothing like that in the constitution, or even in the constitution of the party. What we know is that they could be members of either NEC or National Working Committee, yes. Which is the voice that will come out from there will be as a result of what they collectively agreed on. Yes. Do you understand? Now, the chairman of chairman or chairman of chairman, whatever case you put it, doesn't have any constitutional recognition of whatsoever that has a voice in a particular party. But you know, we can bring out something from nothing. Now, the David Mark said people is that INEC did not reject us.
You see, I have said this here time without number, that when Labour Party issue was on, I say it is he that INEC, the group that INEC recognizes, is the group that Nigerians should listen to. But remember, we have freedom of speech. And this freedom of speech was made to come around when PDP were actually in power. You know, they tried to understand, to make people understand that Nigerians have the right to talk. And then Nigerians are not, dummies. You know, we have also mind and ears to listen and then to digest whatever we hear and know what to work with. But like you've rightly said, I've been in politics for some time, and there's nothing like chairman of chairman, all right? So you cannot come to speak on behalf of a political party to say that one group is either recognized or should be recognized or not. I think the only people that have that right are the neck of any political party and INEC itself, because if the neck of the political party also say this and that, and INEC say they are not even recognizing them, that is a case of a Labour Party. For instance, you know, you could have different groups claiming right of ownership, but it is here that INEC recognizes that stand. So it's time for us to begin to of course, hear what people have to say, but still use our mind to know, are they speaking with the authority they claim to have? Are they speaking for the interests of the country? And like the issue of the Arewa, the northwest national youth, whatever, speaking in terms of El-Rufai. Of course, certain things they said are actually true, but the question is the critics that El-Rufai is bringing up, are they just because he was denied political appointment like ministerial slot?
Are they justifiable?
Are they justifiable? Is he saying things that are actually affecting the country, or things that are and are not supposed to be? So these are things that we should look into. Most of these things is to guide us into not making repeated mistakes come 2020.
Like the one we are into right now.
Certainly, because El-Rufai said it, that he made the mistake of bringing this government upon Nigeria, and if he has one other thing to do in his last lap, I have that video, that is already 65, he's going to use all those whatever resources he has again, because El-Rufai has clearly admitted he contributed to this government being in place very seriously with everything possible, and now he is now complaining today. So if what he's complaining about this government are truth, the fact that he's denied ministerial slot, I never wanted him to be minister, that is personal, but are the things he's saying, are they real, are they facts? And then Nigerians should check these things and work with them.
So on the issue of INEC rejecting ADC's leadership,
INEC have INEC come out to reject ADC leadership? The answer is no. This matter came up like 2-3 weeks ago when some people still came up to say, well, this, that. As far as INEC have not INEC have the capacity, they have the department to address national issues, and this is actually a national issue. As far as INEC have not come up to say, okay, we'll reject these people for the fact that maybe they didn't follow the right procedure or whatever, just like what they said in the issue of Edo State coming by election, then the list given to Nigerians by ADC and not countered by INEC remains the leadership of ADC to me.
All right, they say talk is cheap. Sometimes switch talking, either to gain favor. Sometimes, Philip, I don't know why people talk like the governor of Edo State that will give Mr. President 2.5 million votes. The registered voters in Edo, is it up to 2.5 million or is more than?
A little bit above 2.5.
A little bit above 2.5. But what has been the statistics of votes in governorship election?
It's immaterial. They just, you understand what I mean?
They just say it. All right. So Senator Karimi says that Tinubu will sweep Kogi in 2027. Are they talking on because there are a lot of allegations of rigging in
cognizance. Kogi as it is today is an APC state.
Yes.
The governor, the National Assembly, the House of Assembly, they are all APC. So it will be easier for the president to have a clean sweep of Kogi State. I think it's on that strength that the senator is speaking. And based on the fact that the APC is working assiduously to return the Tinubu government in 2027.
Yes.
They've gone all out, even within time outside campaign period, to start campaigning for the re-election of the president.
Yeah.
It's been endorsed right, left, center, and the governor of Edo State has said that they are going to give him 2.5 million votes from Edo State. So, this is a game of circumstances. It is not out of place for Kogi a senator from Kogi to say that, look, the president is going to have a sweep of the vote in Kogi State, because they have to say something, because they have to be in the good book of the president. This is what Obi is saying, that we need to have a party that is bigger than government. It's only then and then that people will say what is in their mind, not what they think they should say to please those who seem to be their boss, as it were. Because ordinarily, a senator who knows this onion, taking cognizance of his blessed memories, this Senator McKay of the United States, who represented the
Republican.
He represented
the senatorial district.
No, he represented what state is that now? I can't. I think is it Arizona or something? And I can't remember. You know, McKay is a Republican person, but he doesn't care. He goes for who can protect the interests of the American people. He spoke against Donald Trump, who was his presidential candidate, in favor of Barack Obama. It was clear. So when you have at that point, the Republican is bigger than the candidate or who is in power. Or like in Nigeria here, the president is the leader of the party. He's the national leader of the, is everything of the party. So everybody is trying to play to the gallery. So the senator in Kogi State is playing to the gallery. It's not as if like you write.
Is he trying to get acceptance or be on the good books of Mr.
I
President?
don't know which senator he represented, but I know the one.
That's the Kogi Central.
I was going to speak.
Was it not the Kogi Central?
No, Kogi Central is.
Okay.
Natasha.
I think Kogi is.
If Kogi West or East.
West.
That is
West,
where,
right?
Is that the Yoruba
That's the
side?
open.
Yes, Yoruba
He's
side.
not coming back, so he's fighting hard. He's fighting hard.
Did you hear the information that he's not going to come back?
Of course, Ademi is waiting there. Smart Ademi, who wants to come back, and it's a good record with the governor. So why will it be the one that will speak for the Kogi?
Wait, do we have a situation where a certain state senator will speak on behalf of every other person? Speak on behalf of Natasha, speak on behalf of the senator from my own side? You see, it's politics like we talk about, not democracy. You should be able to talk about, he's talking about the road, you know, from Abuja to Kogi, talking about the gas, whatever. This present government, what are the new projects they brought into Kogi State that is helping to stabilize our security and economy? You should talk about these ones if there are. You're talking about projects that were in existence before now that you have not even augmented to make it move forward. So he's just talking like we all know to remain relevant. He doesn't have anything to say. He cannot speak on behalf of Kogi State as a whole. He's not even the governor of the state. He's not the deputy governor. He's not the speaker of Kogi State. He's a senator that until this issue came up, I don't even know him. His name is not known, even though I'm from Kogi State. So you see, we're having a country where few individuals will just wake up, like we've just mentioned here before now, that when we don't have rules and regulations, when we are not electing leaders based on what they have done and what we're expecting them to do, but rather leaders are elected based on how they can rig or how they can muzzle other people to keep quiet, not to come into contest. This is the result of what you have on board. When you have leaders who are not in office because they really have anything to give to the people, but because they are in the good book of certain group of persons and they can do whatever, and then INEC will just allow them be. This is the result of it. So, but then the senator does not have what it takes to stand on behalf of a state that have important people, a lot of persons, and decide that everybody must vote for a particular party or a particular candidate come 2027. And he's just speaking his mind, not the mind of the Kogi.
Okay, all right. Let's move quickly to Reno Omokri. Well, I've said several times that Reno should not be someone that anybody should take.
I'm even wondering that you're mentioning Reno.
Seriously, but he keeps talking, and he also has followers. He posts, and a lot of people read it. So we have to talk about it, you know, and all that. So Reno said that Tinubu doing his part, hold your governors accountable. I actually believe that a lot of governors should be held accountable. And most of the time, the powers the governors have are not subject to a lot of scrutiny. Now, the person or the people or the institution that should have been scrutinizing them and bringing them to book should have been the State House of Assembly. But most of the time, or all the time, the State House of Assembly has been both. The governor will follow you and make sure you're impeached if you are not on the side of the governor. I mean, these are democratic principles that have become very, I don't know what to call them. They don't look it the way they ought to be. I mean, what Reno's saying, Philip, what do you have to say?
You know, for a very long time, something good
came out from Reno.
Omokri. The truth remains that everyone in government should be held accountable for his office or his or her office. Whether you are a councillor,
A
you are a
minister.
chairman of local government, you are a member of House of Assembly, you are a deputy governor, you are a governor, you are a commissioner, you are a minister, you are a member of House of Rep or a senator, or even the president.
Yes.
You should be held accountable for your office. Because that is the only way we can move the country forward. But again, I've said it time without number. How do you hold these people accountable when you are hungry? When the country has been weaponized with poverty? A hungry man is a senseless man. Every one of us, once we are hungry, we lose our senses. At that point, you want to, what all you are looking for is how you can eat first and stabilize yourself. No wonder, Esau lost his best try to Jacob. Because it has happened to every one of us. If you are hungry, if you are really hungry, your sense of reasoning is not with you. So, how do you hold these people accountable? So the government also, they are aware, the government are aware that the only way that they can escape accountability is to whip up poverty, and they have weaponized the land with poverty. Instead of thinking of moving the country from consumption to production, they plunge the country more into, in fact, there's nothing to consume. Like in the morning, Honorable Eli, or Prophet Eli was saying that it looks a little bit as if the price of food has, stabilized somehow in the north. But we shouldn't be carried away that what the government have done is to flood the market with, imported grain and make it look as if food is now available. But the truth is that the farmers are not going to farm. They are not farming. They are doing this because election is drawing near.
So this is a false.
It's a false.
Yeah.
So how do you hold them accountable? Like I said before, if you are hungry, you lose your sense of reasoning. So for a very long time, Ronnie Omokrit, I think
he says something that is sensible.
Though it's sensible, it is not as achievable at this point in time because the nexus has been destroyed. Because a man who cannot eat cannot question the man that is feeding him. How is he bringing the food that is eating?
No, no. Beyond what you have said right now is the fact that there should be accountability in the states, because the governors become the chief executive officer of the state and is not accountable to anybody.
Sorry, let me just, before it comes, yes, that's exactly what we are saying. How do they become accountable? It is when the people are watching and are able to question his action. That's why I said a hungry man loses sense of reasoning.
Right.
Because all the people in the state go to the governor to get, even the members of House that you mentioned, who were meant to check the governor, they are the one going to the governor to ask for handouts. How do they checkmate the governor? Because the only people who are saddled with the immediate responsibility of checking the governor to be responsible is the State House of Assembly. And like you said, it is not impeachment. If you are not a member, you are not an impeachment officer, they will expel you, they will suspend you, like what Natasha is suffering. 6 months, they will snap you people without benefit. They will head back all your benefit and entitlement, and then you become,
or even impeach you.
So you come to beg because I said that even the court that Natasha ran to, he said Natasha has filed the court order and then he found her 5 million and that he should apologize. What does that tell you? He still asking her to go back and settle, find a political solution. So how do you expect the members of House of Assembly or National Assembly to checkmate the government?
Eli, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, what Reno said is not new.
Where I wanted to pick it from, we already know what Reno has said. Is there any way we can bring them to accountability through the right channel, which is the assembly members?
That can only be achieved if we decide to stand by our democracy, to fight for our democracy. What do I mean by fighting for democracy? I'm not saying we should go carry arms and begin to chase our elected office holders. No, what I'm saying here is this. When time comes for elections, we should remember that little cake that little peanuts they give us is for that day alone, for their own selfish interest. And that is not coming from their hard-earned money. They are giving to us little money to vote for them out of plenty of our monies that have been stolen and stuck for that purpose and many other personal reasons for them. When we begin to understand that not allowing the government in power to impose their own people on the general population, like in the case of all the local the states in Nigeria, every state that conducts local elections will end up winning. My brother, it is time we refuse to allow these people impose people on us and make sure you see some polling units, there won't be INEC official or state local government officials. There won't be election. They will declare result. We will keep quiet. What do you expect? You seated here today saying how Nigerians should move forward. If you don't have conscience and your state governor call you tomorrow, when you know you don't even have the qualification, you don't have anything that will make your people vote you, your state governor call you and sponsor you and give you a ticket, like what happened in Kogi State. Somebody will just sit down and buy a ticket that you are the next person that will be. Like what happened in River State between Wiki and Fubara. Do you understand the language? Yeah. A governor that is going, look around, who can I put in place to cover my bad record or whatever I have done, and who I will still be out but be controlled. It happened in Rivers, it happened in Kogi, until the people decide that on election day they will vote their conscience, not being bought over by people that have stolen funds. Because all these people are using stolen funds. They don't have any trace or any trace. Most of them do not have record of how they came about acquiring this wealth. Like we have few of maybe people like Peter Obi, maybe people like you can say, okay, these ones are traders, they are businessmen, they are this and that. A lot of Nigerian politicians, you can't trace their wealth outside political office or public. So until Nigerians refuse to be pushed, to be imposed, to begin to refuse imposing of people on us to take over offices that have to do with our development, we can never checkmate our leaders in offices. The governors do this because they don't want anybody to checkmate them. We also have the right to say no, we'll vote for these people, not minding the party or religion. And when INEC decide to announce a result that wasn't what we voted, and the man have evidence and he goes to the tribunal, will face the tribunal. It almost happened in Edo State. They said they were coming to fight. They brought the police and civil defense. It's getting to that stage where we must make sure we vote, our votes are counted for, and we defend our vote. Otherwise, we will remain slaves in the hands of few political office holders.
I don't really know the reason why the Obi-led faction, the Abure-led faction of the Labour Party always try to deny the fact that Obi lifted the party to its limelight. And what they have enjoyed, the recognition they have enjoyed, is as a result of Obi. They will say, Obi didn't give us money. Nobody gave us money. But this party has long been there. Philip, they said Obi is not the one that made us. Peter Obi lifted Labour Party from ground zero. Never spent party's fund. That's ex-treasurer or para. But the Labour Party people don't agree. They're always on the contrary, that Labour Party is what Labour Party is. But you and I don't live in Senegal.
So here it comes. So in the morning we spoke about what the Emir of Kano, Sanusi, former governor of CBN, said about the culture of materialism, words, wherein people, they read themselves with the numbers of houses they have across the world and the billions of naira in their account and all of that. They don't know that legacy is the highest currency a man could have on earth. I think this is the problem the Labour Party had. Before the advent of Peter Obi, the Labour Party the truth remains that he is there, he has been there and he was there. But what was their track records? Obi brought in what we know as legacy, a name that sold the party. Even though Obi might not give them 1 naira, but his name alone gave them billions of naira. They produced how many senators? How many members of House of Reps?
About 9 senators.
How many? I think 8 senators and about 36 members of House of Representatives or more. And they have a state governor and a full state House of Assembly. And across the nation. So what else could a man bring to a party other than that? So when people speak, it shows the value system. That's why Sanusi was saying that they say the value system has been eroded. That people place the value system today is on materialism, it's on money, it's on cash, names. There are people that are in government have they don't name. No name is the first. They don't come into office with a name in the first place, and they are not prepared to leave a name behind. So this is the mentality the Labour Party had. They forget to realize that it is when Obi come into Labour Party that the Labour Party become a major opposition party in the country and a household name in the country. They are only thinking of the people who will bring money back. Maybe perhaps some persons are giving them some money now that is making them to speak. They are not driving big cars, living in houses they would never dreamt of living. You see, this is where we find ourselves. A country where people live beyond their means. A man who had a million naira today will want to go and buy a car of 10 million naira, thinking that he will get money tomorrow, he will borrow money and go and buy the car. And even if he had a man who had 10 million naira bought a car of 10 million naira, he doesn't think of how he's going to fuel that car and maintain that car for the next 5 months, 6 months. We're not even talking of a year. Immediately he bought the car, he become poorer than ever before he bought the car. Because the reason being that now he's not a car owner, his standard of living has risen in the eyes of the public. This is how Nigerians live life today. Materialism. You can see it, playing out in the Labour Party statement. But thank God for the ex-treasurer, who is also a Labour Party officer, who knows the details of the party before and when Obi comes in. A woman who understands that legacy is better than material things and money that somebody just brought in. That the name Obi has resuscitated the party, has enlarged the party, and has brought fame to the party, and thereby bringing money. Because first thing first, do the work and get paid for it. But in Nigeria, they want to get paid before they do the work. This is the problem. The value system. I'm glad so many persons are talking about it. Sanusi has spoken about it, and Okpara is talking about how Obi name, brought Labour Party to limelight. I think some other person will call, and these people will say the time without number that the value system. I remember you were the one who said we should go back to Massa. What happened to that agency? Educating people that look, a good name is better than money.
All right, we're winding down. Let's look at River State. Anytime I think about River State, my heart really bleeds. And for the fact that the president of this nation, that is a Democrat, has allowed undemocratic practice in River State, it breaks my heart. Really, I'm telling you the real truth. He has allowed the administrator to present the budget. He has allowed the administrator to do appointment. He has allowed so many things because the administrator only right now answers to the president. He's now allowing the administrator. He allowed the administrator to choose the electoral body. Now he's allowing the administrator. No, I'm not doing that one. He allowed the administrator to choose caretaker committees in his watch, under his purview. Now he's allowing the administrator to want to conduct local government election. How far can we go? How will history judge us in the face of the democracy that we said we are practicing in Nigeria? Eli?
Well, it's unfortunate. We are in the hands of people who do not care what history will have to say when they are no longer there. You should not be surprised if he allowed the administrator to do things the way he wants to be done. Want things to be done. In the first place, are we even supposed to have an administrator, a retired military person, in River State, where the reasons you had before bringing him on board was that there were crises and expected chaos in the nearest future. You brought him on board, and then the two major actors whose supporters and body language was going to cause the crisis, you have brought them together and settled them. What else? I've said this here sometimes ago. What else were you waiting for to let the administrator go? Now, an administrator is on recommendations, all right, to the president by one or two group of persons, for personal interest as well, all right. Now, the administrator also have his own interest of tomorrow achievement. So, and then you have allowed democracy to be suspended in Rivers State, and that they have entrusted the resources of Rivers into the hand of someone you give power in the name of administrator. And that Nigeria is a country where people do not come to explain or give account. It's not a country where there's accountability on public funds. So the administrator will also want to use the opportunity he has while it lasts to make himself rich, or to do the work of the people that have put him there. And the only way that can be done is also to have people mining offices who will not oppose or question his authority. So what do you expect? Is the abuse from the first level that is descending to this level we are seeing today. And the only way to correct this thing is to allow democracy to be in Rivers State, to allow the people of Rivers choose who should be in charge of the affairs of the state, the local government, and the units and the ward and whatever. As long as you allow this administrator to remain in Rivers State, he will do the work that you, President Tinubu, assigned him to go and do. Who knows if it's not Tinubu that is even giving him that instruction? He might be the one, because he's the head. It's him that allowed this thing. It could be him, it could be the National Assembly, it could be whoever, because even Wike came out to say, from one or two statements and body language, as if he was not even interested in the sole administratorship in Rivers State. He would have preferred the crisis to have allowed for it to take its course naturally. So this thing is this: who is benefiting? Who is interested in this administrator in Rivers State? Those are the people who knows the card and the games they've arranged for now. That's the simple truth.
Philip, your last word. This thing really breaks my heart, and especially for the fact that everybody looks on. It's just like the good Samaritan and the man that was beaten by thieves. Everybody looked on. The priest said, "I'm going to church. I can't define myself." The Levi, until a good Samaritan came. Will Nigeria get a good Samaritan?
Well, I'm surprised you're saying that we have a Democrat at the saddle and things are going the other way. Who is governing Rivers State? Is the Democrat you have at the saddle. He's governing Rivers State through a process. So what he's doing is democratic. So we should take it so. If the administrator is an appendage of the president, then the president is elected. So whatever thing they are doing there is democratic. So that is where we are.
I can't remember that poet that wrote a poem that said we are all victims.
It's J.P. Clark.
J.P. Clark, right?
The casualty.
The casualty.
It's a poem about the civil war in Nigeria.
Yes.
Both the death
and the living.
Yes. They are
the
all
rich
casualty.
and the poor.
Yes. Whether you are in the Biafra side or you are in the Nigerian side,
we are all casualties.
Because your friends on the other side, you can't reach out to them. Some of them have passed in the course of this war, and some have become maimed. And if you need to read that poem again, the casualty.
At this moment, I can tell you that we are all casualties. I can tell you that for free. Like Okafor will say, I can tell you for free. We're all casualties. Well, this is where we draw the curtain today. Thank you for logging on. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.